Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrack. Big shout out to all the iTrack fan, man. Tapping in like you always do. Huge shout out to all the members. Hey, and if this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy TikToks and kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button and join the iTrack fam. Stay up to date with the latest, greatest, interesting, and creepy videos all across the internet. Now let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Let's go over a few examples of movie studio symbolism, starting with Touchstone Pictures. This could be perceived a couple ways. It could be symbolic to the Western Wall, or maybe the symbolic reference is to the Black Stone. Either way, it's symbolism. Touchstone, a standard or criterion by which something is judged or recognized. And we know it's symbolism because you can see the hand touching the stone. Or how about Universal Studios being universal, having an image of the Earth, but then displaying the words into Saturn symbolism. Coincidentally, the black cube reference with Touchstone has significance to Saturn. Or how about the undeniable fallen angel symbolism with Paramount Pictures displaying the fallen stars in Mount Hermon, which is all referenced in the Book of Enoch. It's definitely symbolism. Or how about DreamWorks showing what seems to be as above, so below symbolism, and to have a guy fishing off the moon of all things and calling it DreamWorks, all in association with entertainment. I wish more people were able to grasp the depth of this type of symbolism. Another one that's pretty wild to have an association with entertainment, because Lionsgate is a reference to a portal. Are they letting you know what you hear and you see is like a portal? My answer to that is yes.
AI just designed computer chips that are so strange, even the engineers don't understand them. These aren't your typical circuits. They look like alien blueprints. A research team let an AI evolve its own chip designs, and the result? Hyper-efficient layouts that defy human logic. One chip reduced energy use by over 50%, but no one can fully explain how it works. This opens a new era, machines building machines beyond our comprehension. Follow for more stories where science meets science fiction.
About those fires in Chile. So it happened in Vina del Mar, eerily similar to what happened in Maui. So you know how Lahaina becoming the first city in Hawaii to be a smart city? Vina del Mar was the headquarters of smart city business for Chile.
No way.
These fires, same scenario. All of a sudden it was like a little fire started, high winds, no warning, a lot of people died. And I saw a video today, this dude who was like going through the wreckage of like a little outskirt of Vina del Mar, and there was a blue house completely unburned.
No way.
And I don't know if you've heard about this whole thing with the conspiracy of the DEW. Lasers cannot burn the color blue. So in Hawaii, everything was just like burnt to a crisp. Like cars were like melted, but yet there was like just blue umbrellas, just completely unburned.
I have family who like was walking through the area and they literally said their warehouse is green and blue. All the green ones are scorched. All the blue ones are still standing and fine.
That's crazy.
But a weird connection. That day there was a satellite right above Maui. Guess who owned that satellite? CERN. And a couple years ago, CERN discovered what they called the fifth force of nature called cosmic energy.
By now, everybody wants blue everything. You know, blue cars, blue house, blue clothes. We need blue everything at this point just to be safe.
I keep telling y'all, stop playing with these paranormal beings. You're going to find yourself in a mental hospital, or even something worse, you're going to find yourself in the afterlife. So the lady in Utah whose family seen the duende in the yard did an update. And in this update, she said she did research on what a duende is. It's not a gnome. She understands that it is an evil being. But what does she do? She continues to entice this being. That is the wrong thing to do. Now, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, let me run the story back real fast. A family, mother, father, and son moved from Vegas to Utah. In Utah, they cooking out in their backyard, and the son and the father see a gnome running around. A gnome, a small person, but it's really not a gnome. It's a duende. Tell the mom/wife she can't see it because she's not spiritually in tune, but she wants to see it. What does she do? She sets out offerings for it. Pennies, she set out a basketball, go out for the day, and when they come back, The pennies in the basketball that she set up was in a different order. The pennies were stacked on top of each other and the basketball was gone. And I know a lot of you probably saying that that's not real, but y'all better pay attention. Now on to the update. So what happens now? She puts cameras in her yard and she puts out more offerings. After she reads up and finds out that this thing allegedly is an evil paranormal being. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you go look it up. Go look up duende and see exactly what you see. She also found out that people in Utah, in her neighborhood, in her area, have seen duendes. Knowing what this thing can do, knowing how possessive this thing is, knowing how powerful this thing is, she still wants to entice this thing. She laid out elves. She even laid out an elf house for this thing to continuously come back to her. After she got information on this thing, I'm gonna tell y'all a story, but I'm not gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna do another video about a story about a duende that allegedly took someone's, let's just say their family found out that being involved with a duende is not a good thing.
Everybody has heard about the concept of remote viewing.
You remote viewed Antarctica yet?
Oh, I have. And that's where another remote viewer kicked me out. Like, he found me and I was like,
Yeah, they don't mess around there.
they do not mess around there. I was sort of just, floating down this hallway, right, in my astral body. And then there was this really big and tall and also wide. And he was floating down the hallway towards me. And I was confused because I've never seen another remote viewer. I've never been seen before at that point. And so he looks at me and he goes like this and he goes, and he kicks, pushes me energetically way outside of the base. And I was just confused. And so what I did was I cloaked myself, which essentially is putting an invisibility cloak around your astral body. And I went back into the base. So I stepped in behind him, and with any remote viewer, you have a grounding cord, and that grounding cord leads the astral body back to the physical body. I followed this guy's grounding cord down the hall, so behind him, and then I went into this tiny room, and there was two men in military fatigues, and both of them in these military fatigues were like this. They were slumped over. And so in that moment, I realized, oh, these are their remote viewers. So they're sitting in the base physically, and then they're patrolling the base astrally.
Allegedly, L.A. Reid was just another Diddy.
L.A. Reid is just a bigger perv as Russell Simmons and Clive Davis. Because it was L.A. Reid's idea to send Usher to the Diddler's house for the Flavor Freak-Off.
Now listen to how L.A. Reid discovered Usher in this interview.
A younger brother, his name is Bryant, he went to a talent show. He says, I saw this kid. You have to see him. So he brings Usher to my office at 14 years old.
Just by himself or with his parents?
With his mother. Starts singing the song. And like that, I was like, oh my God.
Now, this is what's interesting to me. In an old interview with Steve Harvey, L.A. Reid literally called Justin Bieber his gift from Usher.
Years later, Usher brought another 14-year-old to you to
Yeah, it's heartwarming that 14-year-old Justin Bieber walks into my office as a gift from Usher, who called a few minutes before and said, hey, I'm coming to your office at 3 o'clock. I have a very special gift for you. And he shows up with Justin Bieber.
So Usher was just a teenager when L.A. Reid discovered him and was sent to New York to stay with Diddy. Fast forward years later, Usher brings Justin Bieber into the industry. And where does Justin end up? Same circle, same camp. It just sounds a little transactional to me. All I'm saying is if we're going to point the fingers at Usher, L.A. Reid should get the same exposure.
Now, that didn't age well at all. I mean, a gift, I kind of get where he's coming from, but at the same time, nowadays, everything is taken very literal.
I think he's 8 and 11.
All right. Now, and what's the 2-year-old's name?
2-year-old, still in the belly. Still in the belly. We don't know yet.
Okay. And what's the 5-year-old's name?
That's Mason.
And the 11-year-old?
Charlotte.
Okay. Can I show you something?
Yeah.
I asked you before if you had kids. You said, yes, I have 4. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, what are their ages? You said 2,
5, 11, and 16.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
said,
the
what's
oldest.
what's the 2-year-old's name? You said Shyler.
Okay.
The 5-year-old is Mason.
Right.
The 11-year-old is John.
Right.
16-year-old, I don't know. I got to find out.
Right.
I asked you this time, you said the 2-year-old don't know the name because it's still in the belly.
That's because I have a baby on the way as well. I just mentioned
So
that.
the 2-year-old is still in the belly. So that means that child has been in there for 2 years.
Not necessarily.
And then you said
Hey, I'm convinced Orlando Brown has been funny his whole life. Seriously.
There is a school in the US that has introduced AI, and in 2 hours, some kids are getting as much as 2 years ahead of where a normal American kid is at that time. 2 hours. Because after that, the rest of the time they spend on quote unquote life skills.
Cap, got to be Cap. Okay, yeah, the toothpick through the blue line, that's real, but splitting that $100 in two, that's Cap, man. That's definitely Cap.
What the fuck happened at Coachella this year? Here are the 4 weirdest moments you seriously can't ignore. Right from the start, things felt off. Billie Eilish walked on stage barefoot. No intro, no sound. Just 1 full minute of complete silence. Then she screamed, "Wake up!" and jumped straight into her first track. No one knows if it was performance art or a full-on meltdown. Then came Doja Cat. She always goes wild, but this time she wore a full alien-style exosuit with LED veins that lit up with the bass. At one point, her eyes turned pitch black on the screen. People were shook, like, is that even normal? Some random guy in a bunny costume crashed Skrillex's set. He grabbed the mic and yelled, "Coachella isn't real." Security didn't even move. He just walked away like nothing happened. Still, nobody knows who he was. And the craziest part? Lana Del Rey ended her set with a slow, creepy version of the national anthem, while drones made an upside-down pyramid in the sky. The whole crowd went dead silent. No cheers. Just this weird vibe, like everyone saw something they shouldn't have.
Here's a theory which states that if ever anyone discovers exactly what the universe is for and why it is here, it will instantly disappear and be replaced by something even more bizarre and inexplicable. There is another theory which states that this has already happened.
Easiest one is when you have a sugar craving, have something sour. So a real simple fix would be dill pickles. So next time you're craving sugar, I want you to have a dill pickle. My mouth is watering thinking about it. So what happens is it changes the way the body is perceiving its cravings, and it kind of shuts it down. So when you do the opposite, lemons work real well for that too. You can suck on a lemon, have some lemonade without sugar in it, and it cuts that sugar craving almost immediately. Same thing with vinegar. If you're having a sugar craving, have a salad. Have some vinegar. You can even do a shot of vinegar if you wanted to. Now, raw organic apple cider vinegar is going to be your best, but there's many other ones as well. Any of them work, but raw organic apple cider is going to be your healthiest one. Do some vinegar. Watch how that goes away. Now, there's other supplements you can do. Berberine, gymnema. They also stabilize blood sugar so that you don't crash. Because usually we have that craving, our blood sugar drops.
What if I told you that science is showing how a blind man can see, not with his eyes, but with his mind? And scientists are shocked at these results, suggesting that our vision extends beyond our eyes. Renowned neuroscientist Dr. Alex Gomez Marin studied what most scientists would not touch at all: His research investigated a 49-year-old man who was declared medically blind for over 8 years, but was able to see things without his eyes. This is what's called extraocular vision, which is the ability to pick up visual information without using the eyes. In this experiment, the man wore a medical-grade blindfold, and scientists double-checked using infrared sensors to make sure no light gets in. And being blind and completely blindfolded, he was shown flashcards where he quickly called out shapes, colors, pictures without hesitation, and his answers were correct over 90% of the time. This early data adds to the growing evidence behind human extrasensory perception, things such as telepathy, precognition, clairvoyance, all saying that we can pick up information without physical mechanisms. Key takeaway here is that if seeing is believing, then science is now suggesting that consciousness goes beyond our body.
Did you know that this plant is actually a natural air filter, pretty much like this thing? This is a snake plant. It's been studied by NASA and found to remove many volatile organic compounds from the air, just like this. Benzene, formaldehyde, toluene, nitrogen dioxide, products of cooking, all sorts of volatile organic compounds that accumulate indoors in your homes. This is also a type of plant called a cam plant that releases extra oxygen during the nighttime, so it's a great one to have in your bedroom. Having one of these for every 200 square feet in your house or in your bedroom can significantly help to purify the air where you are sleeping. Let me show you 2 more awesome plants as well to help purify the air in your home. This is aloe vera. This is a Boston fern. Both of these are also very good at reducing VOCs like toluene, benzene, nitrogen dioxide in your house. These are probably better for the kitchen where there's more light. And there are even more plants in this, like spider plants, English ivy, and others that do the same thing. So having plants like this in your house does more than just make you feel good. We know these plants decrease sympathetic nervous system activation. They help calm our nervous system, but they actually purify the air in your home. Send this to somebody you know who needs more plants like this in their home to purify the indoor air.
We are the 3 most powerful extraterrestrial beings in our galaxy. Pleiadians. Pleiadians are light beings from the Pleiades star cluster. They look human, tall, blonde, with piercing blue eyes. But their vibration is way higher. They came to guide humanity through love, awareness, and awakening. Messengers of peace from a higher realm. Lyrans are one of the oldest humanoid races in existence. Originating from the Lyra constellation, they're known as ancient warriors and master explorers. Some appear feline, others more human, always majestic. They seeded many other civilizations and carry the raw force of creation. Syrians are powerful beings from the Sirius star system. They're connected to Atlantis, ancient Egypt, and lost knowledge. Some are aquatic, others feline or humanoid. They're guardians of sacred science, helping humanity remember its true galactic origins. Which race feels familiar to you?
I do have a couple of other very specific predictions that I picked up on when I was remote viewing Trump and his next 4 years. I actually saw that there is going to be an attempted follow-up assassination, and I saw that it wasn't going to work. It could potentially happen right after inauguration. I did see stock market crash, and then I also saw AI to change every industry in the way that it's actually going to empower the individual. And then I also saw destabilization of global relations. Specifically, there's going to be a change in access to goods. There was also going to be a focus on eradicating chemicals from food and water and air, which I think less Trump, more RFK. Yeah. A huge power shift as well going to happen in the next 4 years. The individuals who have had power, the deep state, the shadow government, they're going to be losing power. They already are, but it's going to happen rapidly, which is exciting, but also a bit scary because what are they going to do if they're backed into a corner? And then, like we mentioned before, more crimes against humanity being exposed, especially a focus on trafficking, which I think we can all be happy about. I saw Trump having a heart attack in the 3rd year of his term. It looked like it was a totally natural heart attack. Now, we have to understand, too, that timelines can and do change all the time.
So that's just assuming nothing changes it.
Yeah, exactly. There's also going to be massive cosmic disclosure as well in the next 4 years. We're already seeing it happen, but it's going to continue exponentially.
Now, I know you seen them eyes moving, right? And that definitely was a real mannequin. It wasn't like, a human playing as a mannequin. That's pretty creepy, man. Let me know what you think.
How you doing? Oh, just cruisers, man. That's crazy shit. Just crawling at me like it's goddamn. What's up, dude?
This guy found a weird humanoid creature locked in a cell in Romania.
They got this really weird creature caged up. Looks like some sort of deformed human. I'm gonna try to use some footage of it.
Nu-l atinge nimeni. Să nu-l atinge, nu te apucă. Vezi că e plin de sânge? Da, cine știe, Doamne? Să ne omoare din ce-o fi făcut. Oare din ce-o fi rău? L-a dorit. Leagă, du-te și lasă-ne. Fii femeie, fii bărbat. De-aia nu mai e unde să ne ferim de el. Hei, opreți telefonul! Opreți telefonul, Doamne!
This creepy video, the man taking the video appears to be searching for his friend in a dark warehouse of some sort. As he is looking, he is surprised when he sees an inhuman face staring at him from behind some objects. The face turns to look at him. The being has a grayish-white complexion and red eyes.
To this, the video says don't approach it. If you hear them, they have already heard you.
We got a call to this address, reports of screaming.
Really?
Yes.
Guys, I have no idea who this lady is. She's been standing at my door for like 30 minutes.
Now, did you check out the lady that looked like a witch? She was literally transforming in our face, right? Man, if you missed that one, definitely rewind that one back. That was real creepy.
Hello?
Hello, I'm sorry to bother you, but there is a creepy guy who's been following me for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah?
Can I stay at your place until he's gone?
Yeah, come
Thank
in.
you.
Are you okay?
I just hope he didn't see me coming here.
Hello, what is it? I was out for a walk with my wife and I. We had a little argument and I lost sight of her. Yeah, and? Have you seen a young woman by any chance?
No, I'm sorry.
25 years?
No.
Blue eyes?
No. No, sorry, bye.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Bye. Hey. It's okay, he's gone.
Can you check if he's gone?
Yeah, it's fine, he's gone.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Creepy last words people said right before dying. A 20-year-old gang member was dying of primary liver cancer. In his last days, hours, and moments, he was angry. The family called the hospice nurse into the room and told her that they thought he was going. He wasn't responding, his eyes were glossy, his skin was cold, the end was imminent. His lovely mother whispered to him to go towards the light, to her Jesus. He opened his eyes, looked at her, and said, F your Jesus. A second or two later, he slowly turned his head to the left and got the most horrific look on his face, as if he was looking at something that they couldn't see. And horrified, his face contorted, and he screamed with his last breath, eyes wide.
Oh, oh, no!
Then he made a guttural noise and promptly fell back into the bed and died. Every family member was shaking and too frightened to speak. The hospice nurse left the room and took 2 days off. She said she doesn't care if she never finds out what he saw.
I bet you he wish he would have listened to his mom right then and there, right? Craziness.
There, you swallowed a tapeworm by accident. What now? Maybe you ate infected raw meat, or perhaps you drank contaminated water. Well, that's less important now. They're in your body. How bad it might get depends on whether it's a larva or an egg. Option 1, larvae. Once in your intestine, the larva bites into your intestinal wall, where it could spend the next 25 years growing up to 8 meters long, eating what you eat and laying eggs. Unless you notice the egg sacs in the toilet, you probably wouldn't even know you had a parasite. You and your new friend Jürgen will peacefully coexist now. Option 2, egg. The eggs need to feast on something, so they don't stay in your gut. Instead, they get into your bloodstream, then force their way into muscles, developing into the larvae. Except, sometimes the eggs get into your brain, where they can cause all sorts of problems by chewing it up. This makes them a leading cause of epilepsy worldwide. Fortunately, the treatment for both options is literally a single pill, taken just once. The real cure is better sanitation.
There are a lot of things to be afraid of in the world right now, but I think this one needs to take top tier. Scientists have discovered a megabacteria that can be seen with the naked eye. And for size reference, the reason why this is horrifying, just look at this. This chart shows human hair, red blood cells, viruses, and bacteria all the way down here. Now this right here is directly from a peer-reviewed research study, and it says that most bacterial species are around 2 micrometers in length. This one is 9,000 micrometers in length. Like, you could literally pluck it out of the river like a little noodle. And for size reference, again, 9,000 micrometers is about a centimeter. So yeah, literally, like, you could see it. You can see this bacteria. Size is abnormal and scary, but the crazy part to me is that it has like compartments of DNA. Most bacteria just kind of like float their DNA around. A specific bacteria compartmentalizes it, which is something that we only see in complex life like plants and animals. So it basically has organelles just like we do. Kind of like halfway between bacteria and evolved life. Now, I should add that as of right now, this is not going to be like a situation, but it is kind of scary because nature is literally rewriting biology. And it kind of makes me wonder what it's going to evolve into. I know there are a lot of things to be afraid of in the world right now, but I'm sorry I have to add one more.
Satan was a king of Atlantis, also known as Eden, and was known as the quote chief scientist among the gods. Satan, aka Enki or Saturn, was driven by a scientific curiosity and rivalry with his brother Jehovah, also known as Enlil or Zeus, and interbred with Adami women to create a royal half-god lineage, which included his son Cain. This enraged Jehovah, who overthrew Satan, seized Atlantis, and installed his son Baal Moloch, aka Abel, as ruler. Satan's son and heir, Cain, refused to submit and was exiled. There was a brief period where Satan and Cain civilized other civilizations before the Edenic Wars began, where Satan fought Jehovah and Cain fought Abel for control of the Atlantean Empire. Abel was during the battles, and Satan was somehow incapacitated and imprisoned within the center of the earth, allowing Jehovah to assume control. After the flood, a sort of dimensional shift occurred where the gods could no longer rule the earth directly, but remained hidden and could only be seen through veils. From this point on, they used their royal human-god hybrid descendants as conduits acting on their behalf, a practice that continues until this day. Follow me for more hidden knowledge.
We're going to be talking about the Great Sphinx of Giza, which was originally
The Guardians themselves say had a lion face.
This one is the Great White Lion grid. This is why the Sphinx was shaped like a sphinx, and the original Sphinx did not have a man's head. That was done by the Anunnaki after they got control of Egypt. They put their own face with their own likeness on it.
And it was the Anunnaki who started taking over in ancient Atlantis, in ancient Egypt. That is their bloodlines who distorted the face of the Sphinx.
According to laws of physics, if you can build a spacecraft that goes very close to the speed of light, you can shrink the distance to the Andromeda Galaxy. Actually, the closer you get to the speed of light, the more you can shrink it. And so you can make those 2 million light years. You could traverse across that distance in principle in a minute, according to physics. However, the downside is that you couldn't come back to tell, if you came back to the Earth at that speed to tell everybody what you'd found, at least 4 million years would have passed on the Earth.
Oh boy!
So you can't. So there's kind of a downside to it that we could, in principle, explore the galaxy and beyond, but getting to chat to everybody about what you found is forbidden.
Wow!
By the structure of the universe, just the way that relativity works. We could go arbitrarily far into the future by flying around in a rocket very close to the speed of light. So we could come back a million years in the future and look at the Earth and find out what had happened. You can't go back as far as we can tell. So you can't get back to you can't build a time machine to go backwards.
I mean, that defeats the whole purpose. Makes it not even worth it. You're able to explore and see so many new things, but not even be able to tell your family, your friends, nobody, right? I'll pass. But let me know what you think about that, though.
I feel like you have superpowers. You can actually control the speed of this optical illusion. Use your fingers to cover the center of the hallway and it will speed up. Cover up the sides of the hallway and it will slow down. This is definitely one of the funnest optical illusions I've ever seen.
I remember I was telling somebody this in the church, one of these churches that I went to. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. And it was like, giants, like they were probably talking about like we have giants now in the NBA. And I was like, okay. All right, so y'all think that's how I know that you think I'm stupid. Like, that's how I know. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. So let's go to the next text. Deuteronomy 3, verses 8 to 11, because you can't dispute this. Deuteronomy 3, verses 8 to 11. And we took at that time of the hand of the 2 kings of the Amorites, the land that was on the side Jordan from the river of Arnon unto Mount Hermon, which Hermon the Sidonians call Syrian, and the Amorites call it Shinir. All the cities of the plain, and all Gilead, and all Bashan, unto Salcah and Edrei, cities of the kingdom of Og in Bashan. For only Og, king of Bashan, remained of the remnants of giants. Behold, his bedstead was a bedstead of iron. Don't know why I said iron like that. That's that Maryland that came out. Was a bedstead of iron. Is it not in Rabbath, or Rabbath, of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits was the length thereof, and 4 cubits the breadth of it, after the cubit of a man. Do you know 8 cubits is 13 feet? The Amorites they said that they were about 32 feet. And you're like, where you get that? I don't get that. Okay, let's keep going.
You have the bones of Jesus Christ, Mary Magdalene, John the Baptist, and their combined children.
Correct. One of the other things that we acquired in our digging back in the early 1100s, we came across a tomb in East Jerusalem area, and inside of it we found several ossuaries. Well, an ossuary is like a box that contains bones in it. So the order found these bones in the clear back during the time of the Crusades, and the ossuaries themselves seemed to contain, well, they had names on them. The indication was that these were the bones of Mary Magdalene, Jesus, John the Baptist, and their children.
What if I told you the words dominoes and pizza have a secret meaning no one's uncovered until now? People hear the word domino and immediately think of an innocent pastime, but the real historic meaning? A loose cloak worn with a mask that covered the upper part of the face at masquerades. And what are masquerades? A masquerade is a formal ball or party where people wear masks and costumes, creating a sense of mystery and disguise. It's the kind of event where participants disguise themselves wearing masks and costumes, which allow participants to conceal their identities and engage in a more playful and anonymous environment, encouraging all sorts of freedom of expression. So now we've got a masked ball, long cloaks, upper face masks, paired with the word pizza. Put two and two together, it was right in our faces from day one. We just didn't see it. People think of those two words and immediately picture a fast food chain. But the real meaning, it goes way deeper than late night cravings. By now, we've all seen those images of elites wearing masks at their private gatherings. The ones that only cover the upper half of the face, just enough to hide your humanity, while still showing those eerie, exaggerated expressions. That's the whole point. Act without consequence. Hide in plain sight. So ask yourself, was this a nod to something that's always been there, hiding in plain sight? Are we participating in some kind of ritual without even realizing it every time we unwrap that greasy triangular slice? I'm going to go ahead and say this is just a joke for entertainment purposes.
Is it me, or was he describing the movie Eyes Wide Shut? I don't know. Sound eerily close to me. Let me know what you think.
The saying that you probably always heard your grandpa or grandma say when you're growing up, goats are from the devil's lantern, is what they would say when they were trying to get you to go to bed. This is where it comes from, because if it's dusk or just barely into night and you light a fire and there's goats around, they are going to flock to it like moths on a Twinkie. And so it's just super interesting how they're just memorized by fire. And if you look in their eyes, you can see the flame reflectioners in their eyes as well, which is a little spooky and a little creepy. I don't want to be overly superstitious, but there is something going on with goats. You have to admit it. I want to know from you guys if you've ever had strange experiences with goats. My grandpa always says that he did. My grandpa also, for some reason, always had to live pretty far away from elementary schools. I don't understand why, and I wasn't allowed to go over to his house.
It sounded kind of like he had a whole separate issue aside from goats being attracted to fire, and his grandfather being one of them.
Supposedly, a UFO moved a shooting star. Y'all are not going to believe what I found in this video. I'm telling y'all, it's absolutely insane. You know how sometimes the Bible will describe an angel looking like certain animals? Before we get to the absolutely amazing part, we're seeing these shooting stars all over the place. I'll show you one in New Zealand in 1 minute. But right here, people were saying that the UFO was moving the shooting star, which did fall somewhere on the ground and they can't find it. Shooting star, meteorite, no way. Fallen angel, yeah. Telling you it's crazy, 1 second. This is the one that just happened in New Zealand. It looks a lot different than your ordinary meteor. Look at that thing. What is that? By the way, not related, the same exact color as the Devil's Comet we saw at the time of the eclipse. The devil. And this shooting star allegedly fell. So I wonder what weird thing is going to happen in Mexico City very soon. Watch, bookmark, come back. I'm always right with these things. Now the ridiculous part. So first I took the UFO that was near the shooting star and I enhanced it. Enhanced looks completely interdimensional. Blurry looks like Sirius and all the other stars in the sky when they're doing all that weird warpy stuff. Get ready. Do you see what I see right here? And TikTokers, you steal every single discovery I make, the MVPs are watching you. What is this? Can you see it? Can you see it now? It's a freaking lion, y'all. The UFO that moved the shooting star has the face of a lion. Remember at the beginning of the video how we're talking about how these stars have different faces, multiple faces of different animals? See, when I saw this video, I had spiritual intuition. Something was saying, look at this. And without the slowdowns and the enhancements, I wouldn't have noticed any of it. This is the blown up and enhanced thing so you can see the lion. And this right here was a completely separate form of it. I'll tell y'all what, I've made a ton of crazy discoveries as of lately. This right here is the biggest one. Oh yeah, and by the way.
Boy, you're reaching, but you entertained me, so I'm gonna let it slide, but you're reaching though, you know what I mean? Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys for stopping by yet again and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, make sure to smash that like button for me so we can get this video, you know, deep in that algorithm, man. And smash that subscribe button, join the iTrack fam, and I'll catch you on the next one.